Massive, majestic, and mesmerizing, elephants aren't just giants of the animal kingdom, they're icons of grace and power. They are intelligent and social creatures, and they are really, really humongous. Maybe that's why we're endlessly fascinated by them. So today, we're diving into the world of the most colossal and unforgettable elephants ever recorded. From living legends to historical giants, here are the 15 biggest elephants in the world. Let's start this countdown with number 15, Deinotherium. Deinotherium, sometimes dubbed terrible beast in actual records, was one of the most distinctive prehistoric elephant relatives. These massive creatures walked the earth between 23 and 5 million years ago, but they didn't look much like modern elephants. In fact, for years, scientists thought they were more closely related to tapirs or manatees. Their most standout feature was their tusks that curved downward from their lower jaws, not up and out like today's elephants. These tusks likely helped them strip bark or yank down vegetation. Some species of Deinotherium stood over 13 feet tall, dominating forests and savannas across Africa, Eurasia, and parts of North America. Fossils show they were widespread, thriving in various habitats. Like many giants of their era, they eventually faded out, most likely due to shifting climates and changes in available food. They weren't just elephants with funny tusks, they were evolutionary outliers, reminders that even nature's biggest experiments can vanish without warning. Number 14. Asian elephant. The Asian elephant has long held symbolic weight in many Eastern cultures, revered for its intelligence, strength, and spiritual importance. You'll find them central to countless ceremonies, religious festivals, and even temple rituals across Asia. Physically, they're smaller than their African cousins, with smaller, rounded ears and more compact bodies. Males tend to be larger than females, with some growing impressive tusks, while females often have little to none. Standing between 6.6 to 9.8 feet tall and weighing up to 11,000 pounds, they live in tight-knit herds led by matriarchs. They're also incredibly smart. Their brains are the largest of any land animal, weighing up to 11 pounds. Asian elephants eat a mix of grasses, fruits, bark, and leaves, and their sheer strength makes them key architects of forest ecosystems. Sadly, these animals are under threat from habitat destruction, poaching, and increasing conflicts with expanding human settlements, all thanks to careless development and short-sighted greed. Number 13. African bush elephant. The African bush elephant, also known as the African savanna elephant, isn't just a giant. It's the biggest land animal walking the planet. Often mistaken as the same species as the forest elephant, these two are actually distinct. The savanna elephant is much larger, with more triangular ears and bulkier curved tusks. Standing up to 13 feet tall and weighing between 2.5 to 7 tons, they're absolute units of strength. And while their size is their superpower, their brains might be even more impressive. They're strategic, cooperative, and fiercely protective of their herds, especially under the guidance of an experienced matriarch. Sadly, even with their grandeur, African elephants are critically endangered. Habitat loss, poaching, and human conflict have put their future at serious risk. Beyond being stunning creatures, they're ecological powerhouses, digging water holes, spreading seeds, shaping entire ecosystems. If they go, entire landscapes could collapse. They don't just live in the wild, they hold it together. Number 12. Woolly mammoth. Despite conspiracy-laden claims and clips online, woolly mammoths are extinct for now. But that might not be true for much longer. Scientists are seriously attempting to bring them back through genetic resurrection, thanks to DNA shared with modern Asian elephants. With pretty intact mammoth remains found in Siberian permafrost and gene editing tools sharper than ever, this might no longer be just science fiction. Woolly mammoths once roamed icy regions from Europe to North America, covered in thick, shaggy fur, long curved tusks, and weighing up to 12 tons. They thrived in brutal conditions, using their tusks to forage through snow and ice. Their extinction is blamed on climate shifts and overhunting by early humans. But now, labs are inching toward cloning, hoping to restore a creature that's been gone for nearly 4,000 years. If they succeed, we might actually see mammoths stepping through the snow again, for real this time. Number 11. Black diamond. In 1929, the circus rolled into Corsicana, Texas, right at the tail end of the town's oil boom. Back then, the circus was still a big deal, enough to draw crowds from miles around. One of its great attractions was Black Diamond, a big elephant with sawed-down tusks and iron restraints meant to control him. The handlers clearly knew he was a risk. He had already killed 3 people, though that detail was hushed. During the parade, Black Diamond broke loose, knocked down a woman, and dragged her across the street. She didn't survive. The public, terrified, demanded consequences. And in a horrifying act of justice, the elephant was executed by firing squad. It took over 50 rounds to bring him down. Elephants are naturally peaceful, unless they're provoked or stressed. But during mating season, males can become dangerously aggressive. The circus ignored every warning sign, and the town made sure Black Diamond wouldn't harm anyone again. Number 10. Jumbo the elephant. Before celebrities were a thing, there was Jumbo. Not just an elephant, but a phenomenon. First displayed at the London Zoo in the late 1800s, Jumbo became a household name and a big crowd puller. In 1882, he was sold to P.T. Barnum and shipped off to New York. Upon arrival, 10,000 people turned up just to catch a glimpse of him. Towering over 11 feet and weighing 6 tons, he was the largest elephant in captivity. Gentle, smart, and closely bonded to his handler, Jumbo wasn't named for his size. In fact, he made the word jumbo mean enormous. Sadly, his story ended in tragedy. In 1885, in St. Thomas, Ontario, Jumbo was struck and killed by a train, leaving fans heartbroken on both sides of the ocean. Today, the word jumbo is everywhere, in jets, snacks, and circus lore, all thanks to this one iconic elephant who turned heads long before Instagram ever existed. What do you think about Jumbo? Well, let us know. Now, let's move to number 9. Satao. Satao was one of the most iconic elephants in Kenya, a legendary tusker with ivory so long it nearly dragged across the ground. He lived in Tsavo East National Park, one of Africa's largest wildlife reserves. Estimated to have been born in the late 1960s, he lived into his mid-40s, a long life for a wild elephant. But his fame made him a target. In 2014, poachers killed him with a poisoned arrow. Despite constant monitoring by rangers, they couldn't stop it. His tusks were hacked off for the black market, feeding Asia's insatiable and illegal ivory trade, a business worth thousands per kilo, often used by criminal groups to fund violence. Satao wasn't just big, he was a symbol. His death sparked global outrage and renewed calls for stronger protections. Even in death, he became a reminder. Majestic animals like him are running out of time, and we're the reason why. Number 8. Proboscidea. Well, the word Proboscidea might sound clinical, but it's not. It basically refers to one of the most fascinating groups of mammals to walk the planet, elephants and their extinct relatives. This order includes not only the elephants we know today, but also mastodons, mammoths, and more obscure ancestors that date back over 60 million years. The name stems from the Latin proboscis, meaning trunk, a defining feature shared across the group. Throughout their evolution, proboscideans took on many shapes and sizes, from forest-dwelling browsers to towering grassland giants. Some species even outweighed dinosaurs like Diplodocus, tipping the scales at over 20 tons. Their lineage traces back to tiny, pig-sized creatures and eventually branched into several subgroups, most of which are now extinct. What remains today, the Asian and African elephants, are just the final survivors of a once massive evolutionary experiment. Every fossil they leave behind tells a story of ancient survival, adaptation, and loss. Number 7. Steppe mammoth. This guy ruled Eurasia long before its cousin, the woolly mammoth. Roaming around 600,000 to 370,000 years ago, this prehistoric giant could grow up to 16 feet tall and weigh over 10 tons. Its long, dramatically curved tusks weren't just for show. They likely served as tools for foraging, defense, and maybe even mating displays. These mammoths were built to survive, thriving in bitter cold, vast grasslands, and harsh tundra environments. Covered in thick fur and bulky muscle, they helped shape Ice Age landscapes. They're believed to be direct ancestors of the woolly mammoth, evolving as climates got colder and vegetation changed. Fossils found across Europe and parts of Siberia have helped scientists map their history. But like many megafauna, their numbers faded due to environmental shifts and human pressure. While they're extinct now, their bones offer a look into a world where giants once stomped across frost-covered plains. Number 6. Straight-tusked elephants. Straight-tusked elephants weren't a single species. The term covers several extinct relatives of today's elephants, all known for their absurdly big size. These behemoths lived across Africa, Europe, and Asia up to 11,700 years ago. Standing up to 15 feet tall and weighing around 14 tons, they were more than twice the size of modern African elephants. Fossils suggest some of these species lived alongside early humans, especially toward the end of the last ice age. There's even evidence they were hunted for food, a massive undertaking considering their size. Their straight tusks could stretch 10 feet and weren't just intimidating. They likely served as practical tools for defense and foraging. Their extinction, like many megafauna, is attributed to a mix of climate shifts and increased hunting pressure. These animals weren't just larger than life. They were critical parts of ancient ecosystems, now gone, but their bones still whisper of a world built for giants. Number 5. Colombian mammoth. This mammoth roamed across North America between 1.5 million and 10,000 years ago, and it was no lightweight. Towering over 14 feet at the shoulder and weighing close to 10 tons, this prehistoric beast was a close cousin to the more famous woolly mammoth. With long, curved tusks stretching up to 16 feet and a thick brownish coat, it was built to handle cooler climates, though not quite Arctic levels like its woollier cousin. These herbivores fed mostly on grasses and foliage, thriving in a wide range of landscapes from open grasslands to wooded regions. Fossil discoveries, especially around the LA Formation at Tool Springs fossil beds, have revealed how widespread they were. First found in 1903, their remains make up around 22% of the fossils unearthed there. While they were giants in their time, climate change and increasing human presence likely led to their eventual disappearance. Why does every species end like this? Number 4. Mastodon. Before they were a heavy metal band, mastodons were real, trunk-bearing beasts that roamed across North and Central America during the late Miocene to Pleistocene epochs, around 30 to 10,000 years ago. Shorter and stockier than mammoths or modern elephants, mastodons typically stood about 8 to 10 feet tall and carried long, curved tusks. What set them apart was their unique molars, designed to grind up woody vegetation, unlike mammoths, which preferred grass. This difference in diet may have played a role in their extinction. As the climate changed and forests gave way to open plains, their food supply vanished. They didn't adapt fast enough. While humans likely hunted them too, it was that slow collapse of their environment that delivered the final blow. Their remains, especially their teeth, are found throughout the Americas and offer a clear picture of how these animals lived, fed, and eventually disappeared from the Earth's massive biological stage. Well, it's very sad to say, but nothing in the world lasts forever. Number 3. Palaeoloxodon pneumaticus. This big boy was one of the most colossal land mammals to have ever existed. They are often called the Asian straight-tusked elephant, which once roamed across the Indian subcontinent during the Pleistocene epoch. This prehistoric beast stood somewhere between 13 to 16 feet tall and weighed up to 24 tons, outweighing both modern elephants and mammoths. With long, thick tusks extending over 11 feet, it dominated the ancient forests and plains of India and Pakistan. Fossils have been unearthed in several regions, showing their spread and size. Despite its immense power and adaptability, it too couldn't outlast the changing world. As climate patterns shifted and early human populations expanded, hunting pressure and shrinking habitats pushed it toward extinction, a fate shared by many large animals of the time. Today, it's a sobering benchmark, a reminder of how fragile even the biggest creatures can be when their ecosystems start to vanish. Number 2. Sri Lankan elephant. Known locally as the Ceylon elephant, this subspecies of the Asian elephant is native to Sri Lanka, and it stands out for its darker skin and bulkier frame. Among Asian elephants, these are the largest. Males grow striking tusks, while females often have very short ones, or none at all. Their presence is deeply woven into Sri Lankan culture and heritage. You'll find them in religious parades, temple ceremonies, and folklore. However, despite this cultural importance, their numbers are dwindling fast. Habitat loss, human-elephant conflict, and poaching have all taken a serious toll. Conservation efforts are in motion, with sanctuaries and protected parks offering some relief. These elephants are also considered a keystone species, meaning the health of their environment depends on them. By carving paths, digging watering holes, and spreading seeds, they maintain ecological balance. Let's say without them, entire ecosystems risk collapse. Number 1. The world's biggest elephant in Tanzania. So it seems the endless search for the biggest elephant on Earth might finally have an answer. Not from an official Guinness clipboard, but from a very confident internet claim. Somewhere in Tanzania, someone spotted an elephant so massive it's said to weigh over 17,637 pounds. That's not just big, that's absurd. Of course, nobody asked the elephant to hop on a scale, so take that number with a grain of salt. Previously, the heaviest elephant ever recorded came from Angola, tipping the scale at 24,251 pounds. These numbers might sound wild, but what matters is that they're real enough for people to stop and stare. Well, it may not be backed by scientific rigor, but do you need a lab report to be blown away by an elephant this big? Well, let us know. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.